Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'd like to welcome all of our guests here in the auditorium and everyone online on our live stream who are watching us from home. My name is Carla Avila. I'm the Executive Director of the Trinity County Arts Council. We are the local state partner of the California Arts Council. On behalf of the Arts Council, I would like to thank our partners, participating schools, teachers, students, coaches, parents, and volunteers for their invaluable contributions, large and small, in helping to make this very special event possible. Before we begin, the Trinity County Arts Council would like to carry forward a practice of recognizing the original caretakers of these sacred lands within and throughout the Trinity region. We acknowledge and offer gratitude to these indigenous ancestors and present-day relations of the Norwalmuck-Wintu Nation and those tribal people who grace the North State, including the Maidu, Miwok, Hupa, and Yurok. We acknowledge their stewardship of these lands and uplift their legacies as they continue to build and sustain their culture and practices today and for 7 generations. Thank you. Today, we get to be the lucky observers of our county's young poets in action. Poetry Out Loud is a national arts education program that was begun in 2005 as a partnership of the National Endowment for the Arts, the Poetry Foundation, and state and local jurisdictional arts agencies such as our Trinity County Arts Council. The Poetry Out Loud competition begins with school teams and classroom practices that lead to a school-wide poetry recital competition. The top-ranking participants from each school compete here today at the county level for the chance to be our county champion, winning $100 and the opportunity to compete at the California state level, where they will perform 3 memorized poems. At the state and national levels, contestants are also invited to submit their own original poems. With more than 40 contestants in the state competition, this top scorer will win $200 and a place in the national finals. The national championship winner can win $20,000 in college scholarship funds. Through Poetry Out Loud, students are inspired with the confidence to make themselves heard using one of the most powerful tools at their disposal, art. Participating in this program is an impactful and often life-changing experience for young artists. Students interact with the words of the masters, build personal relationships with their works, and create a sense of shared ownership over their artwork, branded by the student's own technique of volume, pitch, pace, and personal point of view. From what I've already seen from our contestants, we might well be the spectators today of quite a moving display of shooting stars. Before we begin our program, we ask that all cell phones and electronic devices please be silenced to avoid distracting our contestants. And we also request that movement about the theater be avoided as much as possible during the students' recitations. Please do not take flash photos or stand in the aisles to take photos or videos during the recitations. But not to worry, parents, you will have an opportunity at the end to photograph your student or group of students in front of the Poetry Out Loud banner. Now, I'm very pleased to welcome today our MC for the program. Each year we have the honor of selecting an MC to join us on stage who's an inspiring individual in our community. And this year I'm deeply honored to welcome newly elected District 1 Supervisor for Trinity County, Rick Lutweiler. Rick lives in Lewiston with his wife Sue. In addition to his role as District 1 Supervisor, Rick mentors the founders of startups through Arizona State University, leads a forensic evidence business as CEO, and serves on the board of directors for Orchard Africa. A big fan of the arts, Rick enjoys sculpting, photography, and writing. And though his writing is usually in the form of leadership content, later in this program he will be sharing a poem he wrote years ago for his youngest daughter. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Supervisor Rick Lutweiler.
Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm pleased to be here today with all of you. This is an exciting afternoon. Today we get to observe some wonderful works of art recited by some of Trinity County's brightest youth and young poets. In the past few weeks, 3 Trinity County High School teams competed within their schools for the right to advance their top contestants to today's county-level competition. We will have 11 students on stage today from those 3 schools, Hayfork, Trinity, and Alps View High Schools.
In order to get to the county competition, the students we will see on stage today began preparing over a month ago, selecting 2 poems from a collection of more than 11,000 contemporary and classic poems to memorize and recite. Ideally, they choose 2 poems that really resonate with them, study their selected poems to internalize the poem's message in such a way that their understanding ripples positively throughout the 6 categories of criteria on which they are evaluated by the judges.
And to help you understand how that works, we'll walk through that. Judges evaluate each recitation as individuals, not as a committee. And judges do not evaluate one student's recitation relative to another, but rather each score is accumulated according to criteria in these following 6 categories. A perfect score in each of the first 4 categories is worth 6 points. The last 2 categories are actually worth more points. The first category, physical presence. The category considers the physical nature of the student's stage presence, body language, and poise. Is it relaxed and natural, comfortably engaging the audience with appropriate body language and confidence? The next category is voice and articulation. This category considers the auditory nature of the recitation, voice projection, pace, intonation, rhythm, and proper pronunciation. The voice should be clear and capture the audience's attention, but not be excessively dramatic. The third category of evaluation is dramatic appropriateness. In this category, judges consider whether the student's interpretation subtly underscores the meaning of the poem. A strong performance enhances the audience's understanding without overshadowing the poem's language. It relies on a powerful internalization of the poem rather than excessive gestures. The fourth category the judges evaluate is evidence of understanding. This category measures a student's comprehension of the poem. The student who understands the poem best will be able to voice it in a way that helps the audience to better understand it. Then there's overall performance. Judges consider if the student captivated the audience with the language of the poem, brought the audience to a better understanding of the poem. They consider the overall success of the performance, and the highest score in this category is worth a total of 9 points. The sixth category is an objective evaluation and is the second weightiest category. It's judged by an accuracy judge. The accuracy judge focuses only on the words of the poem and scores the accuracy of the recitation with various points deductions for each omission or addition or for reliance on the prompter. The prompter sits at the foot of the stage to give assistance when asked for it. A perfect accuracy score is worth 8 points.
The competition is structured in 2 rounds. In round 1, each of the 11 students will recite their first poem in the order you see on your program. They will begin their recitation with the title of their poem and the poet's name. There will be about 1 minute of silence after each recitation for the judges to mark their score sheets. The score sheets will be collected and delivered to the tabulators upstairs. At that point, when the room is calm again, the next student will be invited up to the mic. And this pattern will continue until all students have recited their first poem. After the first poems, there will be an intermission. We will ask that we allow the judges to clear the room first if they need to take a break so that they can be back on time at intermission. And audience will take a little break. The students will remain backstage. And then there will be round 2, where the students will read their second poem, similarly to round 1. After all have completed their second recitation, the tabulators will tally the final scores while we share some well-deserved thank yous from the stage. And then the moment will arrive to announce the contest's winners. So, are we ready? Let's get started.
All right. So without further ado, please welcome our first student to the stage, Gaoxia Yang.
And If I Did, What Then? By George Gascoigne. And if I did, what then? Are you aggrieved therefore? The sea hath fish for every man, and what would you have more? Thus did my mistress once, amaze my mind with doubt, and popped a question for the nonce to beat my brains about. Whereto I thus reply, that each fisherman may wish that all the seas at every tide were his alone to fish. And so did I in vain, but since it may not be, let such fish there as find the gain and leave the loss for me. And with such luck and loss, I will content myself, till tides of turning time I toss such fishers on the shelf. And when they stick on sands, that every man may see, then will I laugh and clap my hands as they do now at me.
We're going to allow a few moments for the judges to record their scores and get those sent up to the tabulation area. Anyone happy that they're not the ones standing up on stage trying to recite memorized poems right now? See, we send the young legs up and down the stairs. It's a great idea. Okay, so next up is Abby Comiskey.
The Albatross by Kate Bass. When I know you're coming home, I put on this necklace. Glass beads on a silken thread, a blue that used to match my eyes. I like to think I am remembering you. I like to think you don't forget. The necklace lies heavy on my skin. It clatters when I reach down to lift my screaming child. I swing her, roll her in my arms until she forgets. The beads glitter in the flicker of a TV set as I sit her on my lap and wish away the afternoon. I wait until I hear a gate latch lift, the turn of a key in a lock. I sit amongst toys and unwashed clothes. I sit as she fingers the beads until you speak in a voice that no longer seems familiar, only strange. I turn as our child tugs at the string. I hear a snap and a sound like falling rain. Thank you.
I'm also glad I don't have the job of scoring right now. Okay, we're ready for the next. Would you please help me welcome Kashia Vang?
Truth is, I would like to escape myself by Noor El-Grawi. Truth is, I would like to escape myself, detach my body from my skin, peel it layers by layers to uncover. Beneath the surface of petals and thorns piled up year after year. Who I am and who I want to be. I want to be the flower that grows in dirt, the feather that flies free between the cracks of fences. A wise woman once told me, don't worry about you, worry about who you could be. I want to be the woman who sits on a desk and writes pieces of oceans, rivers on a white space in a place where imagination has no border. Thank you.
Now, I'm a little curious, by show of hands, how many people in the audience have written poetry? Wow, that's awesome. For those watching, I would say that was almost half of the people. That's exciting. No judging later when I have to read the one that I wrote. Okay, if you're ready for our next, let's please welcome Jewel Young.
I will be reading Coyote with Mange by Mark Wunderlich. Oh, unreadable one, why have you done this to your dumb creature? Why have you chosen to punish the coyote? Rummaging for chicken bones in the dung heap, shucked the fur from his tail and fashioned it into a scabby cane? Why have you denuded his face, tufted it, so when he turns to look like a slow child unhinging his face into a smile? The coyote shambles, crow hops, keeps his head low, and without fur, his now visible pizzle is a sad red protuberance. His hind legs the backwards image of a bandy-legged grandfather's, stripped. Why have you unhoused this wretch? From his one aesthetic virtue, taken from him which kept him from burning in the sun like a man? Why have you pushed him from his world into mine, stopped him there and turned his ear towards my warning shout? Done.
We're almost to the halfway point of the first round. Will you please welcome Julie Vella?
Say not the struggle not availeth, by Arthur Hugh Clow. Say not the struggle not availeth, The labor and the wounds are vain. The enemy faints not, nor faileth. And as things have been, they remain. If hopes were dupes, fears may be liars. It may be in yon smoke concealed. Your comrades chasten now the flyers, and but for you possess the field. For while the tired waves vainly breaking seem here no painful inch to gain, far back through creeks and inlets making comes silent, flooding in the main. And not by eastern windows only. When daylight comes in the light, in front the sun climbs slow. How slow? But westward look, the land is bright.
Would you now please help me welcome Mercedes Towne.
The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked it down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them, really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden back. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
Okay, as I recall, we're going to have to adjust the mic for this. Please welcome Casey McBroom.
I'm presenting Alive by Natasha Sahe. You and me, of course, and the animals we feed and then slaughter. The box elder bug with its dot of red. Yeast in the air making bread and wine. Yogurt, or bacteria in yogurt. Bacteria in yogurt, carrots, the apple tree, each white blossom. Lime. and rock which lives its life so slowly that it's hard to imagine as sand than glass. A sea called dead will not mirror us. We think as human beings we deserve every last thing. Say the element copper, incandescence glowing bright and soft like Venus, pigmented red or green, exposed to acid in the air. Line. Copper primes your liver, its mines leach lead and arsenic. Line. Smelting is to melting the way smite is to might, a violence of extraction. What's lost when a language dies, when its tropes oppose our own? In the at-risk language, Aymara, the past stretches out in front, the future lags behind. Imagine being led by knowing, imagine the end as clear.
You know, I love seeing the courage of these kids getting up here and doing something that can be quite challenging in so many ways, and I really love the presence to be able to stick through in that kind of a situation where you know you're not coming through just the way you want to. Excuse me. Can we give him another round, another round of applause? Excuse me. Our next contestant is Samara Rhodes.
Sonnet 1 by Sir Philip Sidney. Loving in truth, and fain in verse my love to show, that she, dear she, might take some pleasure of my pain. Pleasure might cause her read, reading might make her know, knowledge might pity win, and pity grace obtain. I sought fit words to paint the blackest face of woe, studying inventions fine, her wits to entertain, oft turning others' leaves, to see if thence would flow some fresh and fruitful showers upon my sunburned brain. But words came halting forth, wanting invention's stay. Invention, nature's child, fled step-dame study's blows, and others' feet still seemed but strangers in my way. Thus, great with child to speak in, helpless in my throes, biting my truant pen and beating myself for spite. Fool, said my muse to me, look in thy heart and write.
And now, if you would help me welcome to the stage, Charlie Vang.
Don't Bother the Earth Spirit by Joy Harjo. Don't bother the Earth Spirit who lives here. She is working on a story. It is the oldest story in the world, and it is delicate, changing. If she sees you watching, she will invite you in for coffee, give you warm bread, and you will be obligated to stay and listen. But this is no ordinary story. You will have to endure earthquakes, lightning, the deaths of all those you love, the most blinding beauty. It's a story so compelling, you may never want to leave. This is how she traps you. See that stone finger over there? That is the only one who ever escaped.
This is making me want to put down some of my fictional novels and pick up some poetry books. There's some great works here. Would you all please put your hands together and help me welcome Gracie Reagan.
What to Say Upon Being Asked to Be Friends by Julian Talamantes Verlasque. Why speak of hate when I do bleed for love? Not hate, my love, but love doth bite my tongue, till I taste stuff that makes my rhyming rough. So flatter I my fever for the one for whom I inly mourn, though seem to shine. A rose is arrows, So what if I confuse the shade that I've become with wine-dark substance in a lover's cup? But stop, my tonguely wound, I've bled enough. If I be fair or false or freaked with fear, if I my tongue in locked box immure, blame not me, for I am sick with love. Yet would I be your friend most willingly, since your friendship would infect me killingly.
Well, she's had to wait a long time back there, so let's give a special welcome to Lisa Vang.
slash daughter by Kai Conradi. In a dream, my dad fell from the top of a steep white mountain down into a blue crevice, like the space between two waves where the light shines through, just enough to tell you, you will miss his life dearly. The falling took years. I could hear him moving through air, and then finally, nothing. In another dream, my dad was an angel, his see-through body dangling in the air, floating above me, face shimmery like tinfoil. And I cried and cried when he told me, I can't come back to Earth now, not ever. When my dad told me, you will always be my daughter, maybe it was like that. Will I ever be allowed to come back to Earth and be your son?
As we wait for this round of the scores to be created, could you just give a big round of applause for them in the back? So that is the end of the first round of recitations. We will be taking a brief intermission. I would ask, as Carla mentioned, to let the judges exit the auditorium first, as well as the prompters and others who are seated at the floor level. We ask that the judges return first in preparation for round 2. And for those in the seats, to reduce congestion, notice there's 3 routes to the lobby. The familiar one along the hallway, and both stairs lead up and then down to the lobby. And we will see you back here in 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is. Excuse me, sir. Many years ago, I spoke with you. I just wanted to say hi to you. That's all. Okay, so hi. So you were still in front of principal?
Okay, are we all ready? Well, welcome back everyone. It's time now for round 2 of our competition. Once again, please check that your cell phones and electronic devices are turned off. Students will recite in the same order as before, so let's get started. Please welcome our first contestant, Galshia Yang.
I carry your hearts with me, I carry it in, by E. E. Cummings. I carry your hearts with me, I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful you are my world, my true. And it's you, whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing, is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. I carry your heart, I carry it in my heart.
So I want to come back to my question before. A lot of hands went up when I asked who has written poetry. How many of you have done what we're seeing today and presented your poetry or other poetry to a group? Quite a few less hands, but congratulations to you. It really is, it is something. Okay, please help me welcome the next contestant, Abby Comiskey.
Sturgeon Woods by George Meredith. A wind sways the pines, and below not a breath of wild air. Still as the mosses that grow on the flooring and over the lines of the roots here and there, the pine tree drops its dead, there quiet as under the sea. Overhead, overhead, rushes life in a race, as the clouds chase. And we go, and we drop like the fruits of the tree. Even we, even so. Thank you.
All right, let's welcome Kashia Vang.
We Wear the Mask by Paul Laurence Dunbar. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mow with myriads and subtleties. Why should the world be overwise, and counsel of tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us, while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh great Christ, our cries, to thee from tortured souls arise, beneath our feet and long the mile.
please help me welcome Jewel Young.
Confessions by Robert Browning. What is he buzzing in my ears? Now that I come to die, do I view the world as a vale of tears? Ah, Reverend Sir, not I. What I viewed there once and what I'll view again, where the physic bottles stand. On a table's edge is a suburb lane, with a wall to my bedside hand. The lane sloped, much as the bottles do, from a house you could descry. Over the garden wall is the curtain blue, or green to a healthy eye. To mine it serves of the old June weather, blue above lane and wall, and that farthest bottle labeled ether is the house overtopping all. At the terrace somewhere near the stopper, there watched for me one June, a girl, I know, sir, it's improper, but my poor mind's out of tune. There was a way you crept, close by the side to dodge. Eyes in the house, 2 eyes except they styled their house the lodge. What right had a lounger up their lane, but by creeping very close? With the good wall's help, your eyes might strain and stretch themselves to O's. Yet you'd never catch me and her together. She left the attic there, from the rim of the bottle labeled ether, and stole from stair to stair. We met at the Rose Reef Gate, alas. We loved, sir, used to meet. How bad and sad and mad it was, but then, how it was sweet.
I think it's so fun to see, the different poems that have been selected and the different styles and presented, and to hear how they're finding their own voice to tell those stories. It's just wonderful. All right, will you please give a warm welcome to Mercedes Tao. Did I miss Julie? Oh, I'm sorry. So Julie Bella.
Mad Song by William Blake. The wild winds weep, and the night is a cold. Come hither, sleep, and my griefs enfold. But lo, the morning peeps over the eastern steeps, and the rustling birds of dawn the earth do scorn. Lo, to the vault of paved heaven with sorrow fraught, my notes are driven. They strike the ear of night, make weep the eyes of day. Line. Oh, they make mad the roaring winds and with tempest play. Like a fiend in a cloud with howling woe. After night I do crowd, and with night will go. I turn my back to the east, from whence comfort have increased, for light doth seize my brain with frantic pain.
She's fast. Okay, now please welcome Mercedes Tao.
No Coward Soul is Mine by Emily Bronte. No coward soul is mine. No trembler in the world storm troubles fear. I see heaven's glory shine, and faith shines equal arming me from fear. O God within my breast, almighty, ever-present deity, life that in me has rest. As I, undying life, have power in thee. Vain are the thousand creeds that move men's hearts, unutterably vain, worthless as withered weeds or idlest froth amid the boundless main. To waken doubt in one holding so fast by thy infinity, so surely anchored on the steadfast rock of immortality. With wide embracing love, thy spirit animates eternal years, pervades and broods above, changes, sustains, dissolves, creates, and rears. The earth and moon were gone, and suns and universes ceased to be, and thou wert left alone. Every existence would exist in thee. There is not room for death, nor atoms that his might could render void, since thou art being and breath, and what thou art may never be destroyed.
I'm not sure exactly why, but that reminds me, our two daughters are both visual artists, painting and sculpting and such, but I do remember one verbal discussion with our oldest daughter. We were doing the whole timeout discipline, and so after they would sit in timeout, I would make some comments to make sure that it was landing. Why were you in timeout? And then at the end, I would say, now, tell me, let me hear it in your words. I think I probably talked to her for about 5 minutes. She talked back for about 10 seconds, got everything that was important, and then went, "Mah, mah, 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 mah." And I think I just cracked up because that was fair enough. Okay, will you please welcome back on stage Casey McBroom.
A Noiseless Patient Spider by Walt Whitman. A noiseless patient spider marked on the little promontory where it stood isolated, marked how to explore the vacant vast surrounding, launched forth filament out of itself, ever unreeling them, ever tirelessly speeding them. And you, O my soul, where you stand, surrounded, detached, surrounded, detached, in measureless oceans of space. Fine. Ceaselessly musing, venturing. Ceaselessly musing, venturing, throwing. Line. So he's seeking, venturing, throwing spheres to connect them. Till the gossamer thread, or till the bridge you will need be formed.
Till the ductile
to the ductile bridge full, to the gossamer thread you fling will catch, O you, my soul.
Now, will you please help welcome back to the stage Samara Rhodes.
The Darker Sooner by Catherine Wing. Then came the darker sooner, came the later lower. We were no longer a sweeter here happily ever after. We were after ever. We were farther and further. More was the word we used for harder. Lost was our standard bearer. Our gods were fallen faster and fallen larger. The day was duller. Duller was disaster. Our charge was air. Instead of leader, we had louder. Instead of lover, never. And over this river broke the winter's black weather.
We'd now like to welcome back on stage Charlie Vang.
I Find No Peace by Sir Thomas Wyatt. I find no peace, and all my war is done. I fear and hope. I burn and freeze like ice. I fly above the wind, yet can I not arise. And naught I have in all the world I seize on, that looseth nor locketh, holdeth me in prison, and holdeth me not. Yet can I scape no wise, nor letteth me live nor die at my device. And yet of death it giveth me occasion. Without iron I see, and without tongue I plain. I desire to perish, and yet I ask health. I love another, and thus I hate myself. I feed me in sorrow, and laugh in all my pain. Likewise displeaseth me both life and death. and my delight is causer of this strife.
All right, let's have a big round of applause for Gracie Reagan.
Hope is a Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me.
Our final piece now, please welcome Lisa Vang.
Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thanked whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I've not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years find and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Wow. Well, that's the end of the round 2 recitations. Please, let's really help them understand how much we love them.
Wow. Well, we just witnessed how Poetry Out Loud as a program not only builds self-confidence and helps students to conquer the fear of public speaking, but we've also seen how students learn to appreciate and analyze different perspectives and emotions. These are valuable skills and experiences that will help them throughout their studies and adulthood.
And I don't know if you know, but the fear of public speaking is actually the most common phobia. Ahead of death, spiders, or heights, seriously, the National Institute of Mental Health reports that public speaking anxiety, or glossophobia, affects about 73% of the population. What a critical turning point for these folks to find their way through that fear in adolescence. I can see them becoming stars amongst their peers and classmates as they develop the courage and self-confidence they've shown us tonight.
This experience can be both empowering and pivotal for young people, and the experience of artistic expression itself is a critical life skill that can help everyone through many of life's ups and downs. A few weeks ago, Rick actually shared a poem with me that he wrote that was incredibly moving. It was about a particularly challenging moment in one of his daughter's lives, a poem that, Rick, you crafted from her own words, and that spoke so genuinely to one of the all-time most universal themes of the heart, love. I was truly inspired by your poem and thought it might be inspiring to our young poets here today and to our soon-to-be-announced Trinity County Poetry Out Loud champion, who will be invited to recite their own poem at the California State Level Poetry Out Loud competition. So Rick, would you be so generous as to share your poem with us today?
Judges, put down your pencils. I can prompt myself. Glad I didn't have to try to memorize this. So the story is, we have two daughters, and the younger daughter was wrapping up in a difficult way a 6-year relationship. And she was really struggling with it. And so as we talked and I heard her trying to process what was going on in her mind and in her heart, I don't know why, because I've almost never written poetry. I felt compelled to write this and give that back to her, hoping it was some way to help her sort of see how she was processing out loud, but be able to kind of come back to it. So that's the story. Love. Feels like love betrayed me, took all that I had to give. Now it hurts so much inside, it's painful just to live. When did all this happen? When did the pain begin? Was it there all along? Was I just so lost in him? Still, I miss his gentle touch. I long for his embrace. Will I ever love again? Is it time to leave this place? Paths that I have taken, decisions that I made, leave me feeling haunted, not sure this pain will fade. At times I feel so heavy, moments I feel set free. Will my heart grow stronger? Can I believe in me? Oh, so hard to walk away, everything felt wrong. Now I see the beauty that's been there all along. I see dark clouds are lifting, I feel like I can breathe. Forgot what I was missing, lost a piece of me. There's so much love inside me, so much I have to share. I know that I will love again. There will be someone who cares. Love has made me stronger. It's opened up my mind to all that lies in front of me, to all I've left behind. Now, as I begin each day, I hope, I dare, I dream. Only hearts once broken will know just what I mean. So here is to the joy of love, and here's to the pain, for now I know without a doubt the best of life remains.
Wow, indeed. Thank you so much, Rick. And I'm so glad that everybody agrees that poem was definitely worth being performed, and what a beautiful thing for our community to come together and read poetry together. So thank you all for being here today. I just want to do a quick thank you to some people who really helped make this possible. We're really lucky to have these amazing judges, members of our community, respected educators, and lovers of poetry and literature. I'd like to thank Mary Lynn Rounds, Fred Rounds, thank you both. Dennis couldn't be here today, unfortunately. He got a flat tire, but we thank you, Dennis, wherever you are. Anna Weaver Carson, thank you so much. Megan Killeen, thank you. And Susan Weber, accuracy judge, thank you so much. And a special thank you to the Goldsmith Bauer family. They are our very important tally judges who do all the very important math up in the upstairs room. Thank you, Goldsmith Bauer family. So we just really want to also take 1 minute to acknowledge those in the audience here to support and cheer on your student competitors. This means a lot to every student that you are here today. Thank you to the people who have made Poetry Out Loud possible, the teachers who agreed to teach a poetry unit and got their students involved, as well as the coaches who made room in their work schedules and dedicated precious time to support, mentor, and encourage these students. Thank you for your dedication, leadership, and commitment to our youth and arts education. And thank you to all of those filling the important roles, judges, prompter, tabulators, lobby staff, backstage assistant, theater and technical assistants, volunteers, and our runners. Thank you all so much. We have chocolate roses for all of you in honor of the month of love, which is our theme for today. And we actually do have the final scores tabulated now, so I'm going to ask all of our students to please come back on stage and form a line across the back of the stage. Everybody please come out. You all deserve a round of applause. Let's have all the students up on stage so we can announce the winners.
Well, thank you for that round of applause for these wonderful performances. And I just want to say you all did such an amazing job. And the poise and the grace under pressure and the expression that you gave to those pieces, it's really just fabulous to see what you've done. Congratulations. And now the announcement of our winners.
So first we'll read our second place winner. They're our runner-up, and in the event that the first place champion is not able to attend the state finals, then the second place runner-up would be invited to represent Trinity County in the state of California competition. So this student also wins a $50 cash prize. And I'm very excited to announce, in second place, Gracie Reagan. The moment we've all been waiting for. This student will represent Trinity County. They're a Trinity County champion, will represent us at the state in the Poetry Out Loud competition and have the opportunity to go to national finals and win a $20,000 scholarship. They also get a $100 cash prize today. Our winner in first place is Charlie Vang. And one more final round of applause for all of our incredible performers today.
Well, congratulations everyone, and good night, and be well and read poetry out loud. Thank you.
house lights up.
my children there.